Okay, Michael, I'm back. I'm here. I'm ready for the. Oh gee, Michael, what's the matter? What's up? Seriously, what's wrong? What could possibly? What's that? Michael, no.
No.
What's that?
No.
What's wrong? What could be so bad that you need an entire bottle of wine to erase the memory of?
I watched The Great Race.
Oh, Michael, I'm so sorry. I really am so sorry. No, don't.
What's this?
I watched The Great Race too.
Oh.
I can't think of anything to say.
Welcome YouTube to a very depressing review
Yeah.
of the not so great race.
This is so bad it calls for.
It needs
alcohol.
It needs this.
We need it. That's what makes us so jolly. That previous video that we watched, hopefully.
That was a jolly video.
That was a jolly video because we had cider. This is going to be, well, I had cider, you had wine.
I had wine, yeah. But I had a small bottle. Today's subject...
This requires a full bottle.
A full bottle
I
is required
require
today.
a full case.
Yes.
On camera that looks really suspect. Anyway, The Great Race.
The Great Race.
So let's ask, what are your views on The Great Race, Michael?
Well, first off, it's not a Thomas film.
Shit!
It's gone everywhere!
And I'm not even drunk yet. Well, that was embarrassing.
Right, well, I can open mine now then.
Yeah, we're watching you now, Michael.
It's almost there.
Where have I heard that before?
I've climbed the mountain, I've crossed the river, and I'm almost there.
Anyway, we're getting
I'm
sidetracked.
almost there.
We're getting sidetracked.
I'm almost there.
If you don't shut up, I'm going to throw this over your poster.
That's very rude of you.
Oh! And he's going to drink it from the bottle.
I'm going to drink it. Shall I? Yes. Okay, it's a bottle day.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Evans.
The Great Race.
Every time we say The Great Race, we have
Take
to
a
have
swig.
So, The Great Race. How bad was it?
Well, I suppose The Great Race.
I'm going to be drunk. Within a few minutes.
Is probably the worst we've seen in a long time, I'd say.
Since Misty Island Rescue.
Misty Island Rescue. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's as bad as anything from the Sharon Miller era. That's just Sharon Miller on her own. So this is excluding Blue Mountain Mystery. But it just didn't feel like Thomas the Tank Engine.
It was chaotic, I think. Perhaps the best way of putting it. There's too many ideas that I think they wanted to include in that.
Basically, Diesel had no role in it.
He was meant to be the villain. You could have excluded Diesel's scenes, and the special would have been essentially the same thing.
Yeah, that's my big issue, is that they were focusing too much on the musical numbers than they were the storyline.
Yeah, and it was very much made to be a musical.
It was made to
rather than a story.
Yeah, there was, as far as I can see, there's no story really to it. It's very cliche.
Yeah.
Thomas wants to go to the Great Railway Show. He goes. Oh,
what a surprise!
Oh, and he wins an award. Oh, well.
What a surprise!
When you say there's a Thomas the Tank Engine movie coming out, you want to see a collapsing bridge. You want to see a landslide. You want to see some dynamite.
That's what you want to see. But yes,
That
Lost Treasure last
is
year.
there for a reason.
To be honest, I don't think we were expecting the Great Race to be better than Lost Treasure.
No, but I mean, even the Vicarstown Bridge jump is something that I probably would.
You would have enjoyed.
I would have enjoyed. Like that's an idea that I would be all for.
Yeah.
But the way it was executed was so ridiculous. There was just no build up to it. You think about the Cranky scene, you know, Cranky swinging his hook and tail the Brave.
Yeah.
The lead up to that is just ridiculously tense, and the music is completely, you know, you're in the element.
Not to say that the music in this wasn't good.
No, the music was very
There's
good.
Chris Renshaw, the new composer, is absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely.
As a composer.
And I think that's probably one of the few things that are good.
I mean, not to say the songs themselves aren't all bad.
They're not Eggplant.
They're not Eggplant.
So that's the plus.
That's a bonus. That takes them up tenfold. The songs in it. What order would you rank the songs in it from best to worst?
The best, I think, is what people call Six Small Wheels, which I think is more appropriate because it's a classic series reference, railway series reference, and it's about Thomas being himself. He has 6 small wheels. I think
some of the visuals in it are a bit.
it's very surreal. So it's very much designed to be this sort of surreal musical, which I didn't like. But the song itself was beautiful.
Pretty good. A couple of corny lyrics like "Calm down, be quiet." It just broke the flow of the song.
For me, it was hearing Thomas sing, but that wasn't necessary. Like Ashima is the character that gives Thomas confidence in the special. And I'm saying special because it's not a movie, it's a special.
Learned about Thomas singing. Not that Ben Small was a terrible actor, but just imagine if it was him singing.
I dread to think what Ben Small would have produced out of that. I would happily swap Ben Small in The Great Race for John Hassler in Tale of the Brave. I think that would be a fair swap, right? But let's focus on The Great Race.
How many times have we said The Great Race?
I'd say about
4 times.
3 or 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna get near enough half the bottle if we keep saying The Great Race.
Damn it!
It's
Annoyingly catchy, that song. Okay, so does that mean streamlining is second place?
For me, second place is streamlining. So first it's 6 More Wheels, second is streamlining. See, the other songs I really didn't think much of.
No.
Third place.
I personally would put Take Me to the Great Railway Show. I mean, I know it's not a fantastic song, but I'd place it over the reprise of Streamlining.
I love the lead up
music
to the
music leading up
as the Flying Scotsman leaves Vicarstown.
Yeah.
That music is amazing. As soon as you realise that it's a musical, you're like, oh.
Somebody I know said they went to see it in the cinema during its run.
Yeah.
And there were kids questioning why the engines were singing.
They were in my screening.
It was yours.
Me.
And I think there were 1 or 2 other people I spoke to. They heard people questioning why the engines were singing.
Song-wise, it's very much a fantasy-based element to the story, and that's what really put me off it. It just doesn't flow because of the songs, and that's what I love about the films prior to that. You have Lost Treasure, which, in all fairness, I'd say the second half of Lost Treasure is the strong part.
Oh yeah,
because that's where it gets rolling. We meet Sailor John. He befriends Skiff and Sailor John, and there's this misunderstanding. He almost blows up Ryan with some dynamite, and that.
Who doesn't love seeing Eddie Redmayne nearly get
that was so good. I was on the edge of my seat in that scene.
That's what those noises were.
Yeah.
The moral. It's a good moral, but the moral is about being yourself and accepting your qualities, who you are, making the best of who you are based on what you've got. It's a great moral. It really is. The story just doesn't do it justice. There's no real build-up. There's no tension. It's mostly Thomas running around moping.
I hate to do it again, but if you compare it to Lost Treasure, but you sympathise with Thomas in Lost Treasure. In The Great Race, I just found him incredibly annoying, and he's my favourite character. He's my favourite character. Yeah. Thomas has always been number one for me, and I was just like, well,
so if Michael, the Thomas adorer, Thomas and the Magic Railroad lover,
if the Thomas fan 8
is annoyed by Thomas,
exactly,
you know there's something wrong.
You know that it's a bad film.
They make such a big deal out of Gordon's safety valve. Like, oh my god, he could explode. And when you think of explosion, you think, bang, bits flying left, right and centre. What happens in this, as I'm sure you all know, you've probably seen it. If not, spoiler alert, although it's probably a bit late for that. A couple of panels split at the top of his boiler and steam gushes out.
Let me do a recreation of what it looks like.
Very good, Michael. Now do the impression of Gordon. It's Thomas. You're not expecting Gordon to be blown to smithereens, having his face over there, his boiler over there, his tender over there.
That would be nice.
So much build up for nothing, and then after his boiler explodes, he's completely sidelined. You don't see him.
This is what we mentioned earlier. Diesel wants to go to the Great Railway Show, and he looks like he's going to be a part of the plot. And it's like, fair enough, okay, so Diesel's in this film, he's going to be the antagonist, whatever. Diesel has a musical number, and a crash happens, and we never see Diesel again. Okay, right.
It's completely glossed over.
So our minds are all over the place as to who we're meant to be following in this film. The only consistent characters are Thomas and Ashima.
Yeah.
And
Ashima is fantastic.
Ashima is gorgeous.
She's the saving. I'm not going to ask any questions. She saves the film.
She does save the film.
She saves the film.
And there are some really nice tender moments.
And who is it? Tina Desai?
Tina Desai, who
just
is
fantastic. She really, really does the character justice, I think.
Yeah.
And she can sing as well. She's fantastic.
I mean, she's a Bollywood singer, so they obviously did the casting right. And she was in the best exotic Marigold Hotel. Whoever's seen that? I mean, I've seen that.
Was she in that?
She was in that. She's the love interest of the main girl.
Yes, I remember now.
There wasn't enough of her, especially because she's Thomas's mentor in the film. Thomas hates her to start with. She knocks him back almost into the sea, and that's the best moment in the film because that's the most tense moment.
That 10-minute clip that was uploaded on YouTube in what's the date? August, a couple of days in August.
Yeah, in August. Yeah.
It's the most dramatic bit of the film.
It is, but there's pure drama, and I think that's why they uploaded that
the start is pure drama, and then it goes into Thomas racing backwards and forwards. Because Lost Treasure had tension, it had drama, it had kids aren't dumb. Like a bit of threat, a bit of mild peril is okay.
You cannot mask the bad guys in this world, and Sailor John is a bad guy. Like they're gonna come across bullies and whatnot. It's just part of life, and you can't mask that over in Thomas. In all fairness, we get Vinny in The Great Race, sure, for a tiny segment of The Great Race.
You probably get about 2 minutes.
I said The Great Race twice.
Shall we go into positive qualities? Because we've slated a lot, but we make it sound like there's not enough. There's no positives. We've mentioned Ashima being a positive, of course.
Ashima is definitely a positive, and I love her to pieces. And like you said, it's Tina Desai who brings her to life.
And it's a shame that we're not going to see her, or it's implied that we're not going to see her again.
Yeah. All the same, I'd say if she stays in The Great Race, that's a lovely little character that we can remember. Who was
it's not spoiled by commercials.
Exactly.
I hated Philip in series 19. I actually grew to like him, which I never thought I would say. He's carrying the flag, that's all he does, but he doesn't let it get him down. He supports his friend, he wants his friends to do well.
Yeah,
it's just sort of a real, this is a good guy, he's a good heart, he just means well, he's just misunderstood so much.
There's a bit more to him, and I think we see his vulnerable side, which is nicer, rather than his energetic side.
He does a couple of good comedic lines in this.
Yes.
Especially with Henry after the test of strength. Vicarstown is another positive.
Absolutely.
The set of Vicarstown is just wow.
And it's one of the few new sets we see in the film as well, which is kind of a shame.
Yeah, the other one we see is that of the railway.
The railway show, which is kind of annoying, really. Because I like to see Sodor expanded like it was in Lost Treasure. I mentioned Lost Treasure again, I'm sorry. There are some shots of Thomas, Annie and Clarabelle on the branch line. And I think some shots of Thomas and Ashima where the camera is actually moving kind of like that, as if there's a train following and tracking them.
Yeah.
And the camera sort of sways around in a realistic motion. Yeah. So. But again, that's the main thing I guess I'd say apart from Ashima is that I love the animation. I think they always produce something
always do
beautiful.
Fantastic animation. Let's try and sum Great Race up in as few words as possible. A valiant effort.
I'd say yes.
A valiant effort, but not what people were hoping for.
It has a beautiful moral. I love the moral to pieces.
Oh yeah.
For the narrative, it is very poor.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that we'll be seeing more high quality, more developed standards in the future.
I don't want musicals every year. I hope
no.
This isn't the path it's going to take.
Yeah. I just feel like when you bring it into this cartoony, modernised world, Thomas the Tank Engine falls into this very Chuggington feeling. Thomas doesn't need to evolve, he is his own thing, and I think, we understand that as fans. I just hope that the production team don't feel the need to change Thomas so much that he becomes something we don't recognise anymore. I think that's a big threat. It needs to be addressed that if this slips every year, then we could see Thomas going into something we don't recognise as Thomas the Tank Engine. No matter how many railway series or classic series references we get, it doesn't mean anything. It's the way the characters are treated. It's the way the stories are developed and written. Yeah. So hopefully next year we might see something better.
Fingers crossed. We've still got Series 20 to come.
And we still got Series 20 to come.
Perhaps we'll discuss that in part 2.
Thank you for watching this
part
of the Great Race.
The not so great. You did that deliberately.
I was thirsty.
Alcoholic. Join us for part 2. I think we can both answer this question now. We are not dead.
We're quite clearly alive, so please, no more of those comments, please. That'd be very nice.